We know that Game Freak wants to keep making more Pokemon Legends games. At least, maybe. What if, guys, just what if the Legends games end up being a trilogy? We have Legends Arceus, which is a past game that takes place in the past, takes place in the Hisui region, which is just Sinnoh basically before it was called the Sinnoh region, which was really cool. That's a cool concept. We have Pokemon Legends ZA coming out this year, which is taking place in the Kalos region, or Lumio City more specifically, which seems like this is like a present kind of game. I think it's taking place like 12 to like 15 years later after the events of X and Y, so it's safe to say that it's a present game, not a future game. So that leaves us one more option for a trilogy, which would be a Legends game taking place in the future. I'm 50-50 about this idea because I think the Legends concept and like idea is awesome. I definitely want to have more Legends games like going on in the future, and I would hope to get a Legends game honestly based off of every single region. Like, that would be super cool. And you know, they're not releasing Legends games back to back. There's a several year gap in between every single Legends game, so it's not like we're gonna get like a Legends game this year, next year, and then the following year after that. If we do end up getting another Legends game, it's gonna be maybe like 2028, 2029 or something like that. So we're a couple years out from the next Legends game after ZA, which it's still a little early to talk about it, but we can still come up with ideas and theories about what it could totally be based about. Let's talk about some good news about Pokemon games really quick before we get to the other stuff about this video. We know that Game Freak want to make bigger, better, more unique Pokemon games. We know that they want to spend more time making a more thoroughly built Pokemon game. Like, we've known this for a couple of years now. Honestly, ever since Scarlet and Violet, I think that was like their turning point of like, okay, we need to like actually lock in, because every single Pokemon game on the Switch has had complaints in one way or another, which, if you're gonna ask me about my favorite games though, I think my favorite era of Pokemon is like the DS era of Pokemon. But, you know, I still really enjoyed the new Pokemon games that we've had over the last couple of years, especially Legends Arceus. I think the concept of the Legends games is so unique, and I can't wait to see another one. So we know that Game Freak wants to make bigger and better games. And not only that, I actually asked my community tab, which I kind of want to make a different video about this, like a whole separate video, so make sure to subscribe and stuff if you want to see this one, because I could go so much more in depth about this community tab post. So I did a poll, and I said, for the future of Pokemon games, would you rather have more Legends games, more remakes, or more unique mainline spin-offs? And I probably should have also put another option saying, like, you know, the normal kind of way of doing things. But what I meant by this post was kind of like the other stuff, like besides the new mainline Pokemon games, and most people want more Legends games. I think it's safe to say we will be getting more Legends games. So let's go back to the theory. If the Legends series is going to be a trilogy, and if it is going to be a trilogy, I think that the next Legends game to be a trilogy would be based on Generation 2, the Johto region, and I think it would be fully based around Celebi, which is the time travel Pokemon. Now think about it, we have Generation 4 based on Legends Arceus, Gen 6 based on Legends ZA, and if we're going with a future game, like a Pokemon game that takes place in the future, but is fully based around time travel, I think it would be so perfect to go backwards to Generation 2 with Celebi, especially since, you know, 2, 4, and 6, you know, it's all even numbers right there, so I feel like that's also kind of a giveaway as well, which, who knows, maybe they could do a Gen 8 Legends game next. I could be totally wrong. I don't know if they'd revisit, you know, anything with Generation 8 just yet, though. I feel like we're still a couple years away from anything Gen 8 related. Pointing out the obvious here, we haven't been back to Generation 2 in the longest amount of time compared to every other Pokemon game. We've not been back to the Johto region, I believe, since Heart Gold and Soul Silver, which that's been almost 20 years now, which is kind of insane to think. Okay, that was a little bit dramatic. I guess it hasn't been almost 20 years. It's been 15 years, but that's still a long time, guys. That is still a long time. But it'd be really cool to go back to the Johto region where it's just kind of all tech. Like, it's all big tech cities, floating transport systems, different like ecosystem domes protecting the wilderness areas, similarly to like the Blueberry Academy. And I guess, you know, Legends ZA kind of has that with like the wilderness areas, so you know, that would kind of be a cool feature as well to have in like a future Pokemon game to show that they're, you know, trying to preserve the wilderness just a little bit. And we know that like Pokemon and Game Freak, they've been wanting to go down like some futuristic type of Pokemon stuff for a while now. Like Scarlet and Violet had all these Paradox Pokemon, which maybe a Generation 2 Legends game could bring back the Paradox Pokemon. I know a lot of people actually did end up liking the Paradox Pokemon, which I personally don't really care too much about the Paradox Pokemon. I think they're cool, but I think I prefer like the regular designed Pokemon. So it'd be cool if, you know, maybe like the overall storyline obviously is based around Celebi. Every single Legends game seems like it's going to be based around a different legendary Pokemon. You know, we had Legends Arceus being based on Arceus, which I guess is a mythical Pokemon technically. However, Legends ZA is going to be based on Zelgard, which is a legendary Pokemon. And then the A is like still a little bit unknown. You know, it could be like the ranking system. which I've had that comment a lot. I just don't think that they would name a Pokemon game based on a ranking system. So I think that the A is like a double meaning. Like the Z to A is a double meaning Zygarde, and something else could be like the Ange energy, could be like the Prism Tower, could be anything, as well as the ranking system, obviously. But I think there's more to the name than just the ranking system. Then a Legends Celebi or Legends Johto, whatever you want to call it, they'd probably come up with a unique name, because Legends ZA is like a weird name, but it's a really cool name. Legends Arceus is pretty like plain as like Legends and then Arceus, but Legends ZA is like, ooh, it's like, what the heck does the A mean? You know what I'm saying? It's like mystery. So for the next Pokemon Legends game, I feel like they could also go with like that mystery name kind of route. So imagine like Celebi is losing control of time, and the timeline is going on these like all unnatural like imbalances, and then there's an organization trying to essentially kind of like capture Celebi or replicate its powers, trying to harness time energy to create a different Johto, like an alternate Johto region, which would rewrite history and the future. Because if you rewrite history, you know, stuff is going to change, the future timeline is going to change. It would be cool if we were to play as a descendant from a lineage that is sworn to protect time, like the time-space continuum. I've always wanted to say that in a video, finally had the opportunity. But the thing is, we don't know that until like, you know, the storyline unfolds and we learn about our past and our like, you know, ancestors and stuff like that. Maybe like we get to see some visions of some old mythical / legendary Pokemon that used to control time that like don't exist anymore. Like different Pokemon that used to help Celebi, but they went extinct somehow and something happened to them. That'd be kind of cool just to like introduce some more lore to the Johto region. Obviously that would kind of disrupt like the timeline stuff though, I feel like, and kind of like the history and lore that we know of Johto region. So I feel like as far as seeing other, you know, Pokemon, legendary Pokemon, mythical Pokemon that would help the timeline, I feel like that could be okay to skip. That was just kind of like a random idea that I threw out there. It'd be cool if we get to explore 3 different eras of the Johto region: ancient, present, and future, where we solve different puzzles, you know, we go time traveling and we kind of like plant things in the past, present, and the future. It'd also be cool if we get to see certain Pokemon only appear in specific eras of time, like, you know, the past. It'd be awesome to have like every single fossil Pokemon available in that game. Like that would be so awesome, because fossil Pokemon need to have a bigger comeback. People love the fossil Pokemon, and I want those people that love the fossil Pokemon to have a game with more fossil Pokemon. Future Johto would have like all the Paradox or like Neo / like future Pokemon forms of like, you know, current existing generation 2 Pokemon, but in the future they would just have like their robotic or like futuristic forms, something like that. And then I guess the present Johto would just be like regular Johto from like Heart Gold and Soul Silver or something like that. Like maybe the other organization would like create an artificial Pokemon, like an artificial mythical Pokemon that can artificially control time. Like maybe somehow Celebi's powers got drained, or maybe the other enemy team caught Celebi and put its powers into a new mythical Pokemon so that that enemy team could control time themselves and literally just do whatever they want. This would also be a really cool opportunity to give us a new Ho-Oh form and Lugia form, which Lugia is one of my favorite legendary Pokemon for sure. And I think a storyline like this with, you know, the past, present, and future type of stuff could have a lot of really interesting themes, like the ethics of rewriting past or the future or the present, having, you know, traditional, you know, Pokemon stuff versus, or having like a futuristic kind of like technological future in a Pokemon game. Now obviously I'm not a very good Pokemon story writer. I've never written an actual Pokemon game before. However, this is just something random that I mocked up because I think it'd be really cool, and I would love to go back to Generation 2. I don't think that we're going to get a Let's Go Johto, like, you know, the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I don't think we're going to get a Let's Go game on the Switch 2. I mean, I think it's possible. Personally, I'm like 98% sure that's not going to happen, specifically because the reviews of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee weren't amazing, like as far as the fan base goes. Maybe like the general audience was good, but I think like the real like Pokemon fans, like the people that play every single Pokemon game, didn't really love the game. And I think that Game Freak kind of knows that. I think they're aware of that. So I don't think we're going to get a Let's Go Johto game. I think if we are going to get a Generation 2 game, it's going to be a Legends game. Like I said, I would love it. And now, even though I do want more Legends games in the future, it would be really cool to have a trilogy of Legends games. Like that would be kind of insane, like super awesome. But it would be kind of sad if we didn't get a Legends game. But from the Terra League stuff that went down a couple months ago, there was stuff about like a secret big open world Pokemon game that's like a Legends game, but it's not a Legends game, not Generation 10. So there could be a plan like in the works to maybe have a new type of spin-off mainline games that are just like the Legends game, that are just like Legends games, but just a little bit different, if that makes sense. But anyways, if you are real and watching this far in the video, comment down below Spider-Man, just let me know you're watching this far in the video. And if you're a real one, let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see Generation 2 Legends game? Because I think it would be super cool. Make sure to join the Discord server down in the description below, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel to help me reach my goal of 30,000 subscribers before the end of the summertime or the end of August. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are all the goats. Peace.